Do I go to that place? What do I do now? We only think from our desires. Oh, I'm going to go to the movie. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go this for some entertainment. Finish that. We go to something else. We never think to go beyond to another level because we don't know how. That's the tragedy of what has happened to us. And we should be mad as hell. But we're not. We take it like a grain of salt. Long as I can pay my bills. Long as I got my health. Long as I can put some gas in my car, I'm straight. This is a mentality that will never be a threat to Shaitan. It will never be a threat to the decadence that has reached from east to west to north to south. That's a mentality that will never get anything from going to a mosque or a synagogue or a church. That's a mentality that will always be angry, always hating, always depressed, always fearing, always grieving. Always thinking that something better, the grass is greener on the other side. Envy, jealousy, arrogance. This is from a people who don't know who they are. We must know the nature of this, or where we are, the nature of this world. We know the nature of this world. And we know the nature of ourselves. Then we have comparison. We can say, well, I'm not like this world. There's something in me that's not attracted to this world. Why do you think that Esau, ibn Maryam, Jesus Christ said, be in the world but not of the world? It's consistent. All Allah Almighty's prophets, all of their messengers, there is no distinction between them. They are consistent. They see the illusion and the deception of a world that has no value. No one has to tell us about this world. We're born into it. Adam and Eve was dropped into it because of rebellion and disobedience. Now we are born into it. Don't you know that Allah Almighty is never going to let us forget about that sin? To never ever forget, but Shaitan's handiwork is to make us to forget. So now we have male against female, vying against each other. We have black people, red people, yellow people, the races against each other. We have the religions against each other. Everybody coming from the same place. Everybody eventually will return to the same place. In the grave, no one is fighting each other. This is a crazy world. This is not of us. And we are not of it. This is a field trip to remind us of what happened to our grandparents, the grandparents of humanity. And that's why Shaitan doesn't want Islam to grow up. He doesn't want to see Muslims grow up. Because they will be able to unite the people against the illusions of this world. Everybody has been tricked. Every country have their own little sick mentality. Everybody have their own, every religion have their own little way. Everybody's become so cliquish. Until we leave this world, they ain't fighting on the other side. They're not fighting once you leave this world. It's only the ego and the influence on the ego that causes us to fight, to quarrel, and to be rebellious, and to be angry, and to be jealous, and to grieve and to fear, and to be offended. Only the ego can be offended. That part of us that's from the essence of Allah Almighty cannot be offended. We're here to learn lessons. And that lesson is to be in this world but not of this world. And once we learn that lesson, it's going to change the way we look at everything. Because when those people come that actually look at it with the eyes of their Lord, they hear with the ears of their Lord, they speak with the tongue of their Lord, they strike with the hands of their Lord, that are possessed by their Lord and not of the mentality of this world, and Shaitan, they change the environment. They become the spiritual authority in which they're able to bind the hearts of those whose mentalities are diverse. They're able to bring the people together, bring humanity together. This is what everyone wants, but Shaitan is saying to everyone, you don't want that. Why? Because it's going to bring down his kingdom. But we're not thinking. Because we are entrapped in a mentality of only in the things of this world. And that's why we don't want to leave. We don't want to leave here. Yet nobody stays here. Can you imagine how crowded it would be if everybody was still here? Everybody be walking down the street, they wouldn't have no cars in there. You couldn't drive them nowhere. So our mentality has to change. In the Quran, from the beginning to end, it says the same thing over and over again in 100,000 different ways. It talks about those whom Allah Almighty had a good fellowship with, those whom Allah had His grace on. They were the ones that were able to see with clarity while they were still in this physical world. And so Allah says that there's no death for them. Because they saw in this world and they see in the next world. And that's why Allah sends them to guide us. There's a distinction between those that can see and those who cannot see. And that's why even Shaitan said that those who Allah put His grace on, I won't have any power over them. Because they see me. They see my tricks. They see my traps. They know this world is a deception. They know that I'm a deception. They know what I'm doing. But you know what? I'm just going to keep people away from them. And that's why it's always a few. The masses have never done anything in life. Shaitan got the masses. Shaitan will have more followers than any of the prophets. Will Allah be pleased with them? Because the people will accept to be cheated. They don't want the high life. They prefer the low life. And Allah says, don't make them. There's no compulsion in religion. Truth stands out clear from falsehood. But Allah makes it clear enough to them that they can distinguish which is truth and which is falsehood. And that's why it's justice. Because that part of Allah Almighty that's in them, at some point in time, the clarity comes and they see it, and they make a decision. No, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to do this. That's why Allah threatens us, because we know better.